Okay, going to move on to motion number 5 from Tara Deasy, Pat Dunn, Deirdre Conroy, Fiona Connolly and Carolyn Moore. Who wants to take that first?
Thanks, Chair. I suppose the issues in terms of Crumlin Road, stroke Mondello at this stage have to be raised once again. Councillor Dunn and I discussed and brought a motion probably about 18 months ago around a number of traffic calming measures that were very, necessary to be implemented. That was 2 years ago. I think we got a lollipop lady was probably the best we could get from that. That was, as I said, 2 years ago. There was a near fatal accident on Father's Day with a young boy. And a number of the residents have been in contact with me. Now, whilst I'm happy, Carl, in terms of your response that you're willing to look at it, and you have said that if the councillors would like to give further information on the location and in terms of some of the recommendations, could I'm not an engineer, and there's much smarter engineers sitting on this call that I'd like to engage with, but could I make a suggestion? I've been speaking to a number of the residents from the Crumlin Road, and a number of them have agreed that they'd be happy to meet representatives from Dublin City Council. They live on the road, they use the road, they access the road. Anybody that you speak to at the moment would also have the same fears as we all have. So could I make a suggestion that we organise a meeting with those residents rather than, just the councillors? I think bringing a key group of people from the Crumlin Road to come together to discuss some of those recommendations would be useful. And if that's agreed, could we look at dates, or could we look at some kind of feedback in terms of that? Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Tara. Pat Dunn.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and thanks to the traffic section for the reply. Although the reply is a little bit bland, I've been highlighting issues in relation to the Crumlin Road way back, put in a request for the speed indicators to be put on the road back in the days when the Crumlin Road was in Dublin South Central. I think it was about 2015 or thereabouts. And the response to that was that a survey that had been carried out didn't indicate there was any speeding. And it continuously coming back without any scientific data that there has been no speeding on that part of the Crumlin Road, which is from Loretta down to the Grand Canal. And I'm along that stretch of that road every day, and you physically see it. The problem is that where we were able to introduce the 30-kilometre speed limits on the minor roads, the Crumlin Road is an R road and is covered by national legislation. That legislation says that in an urban area, the speed is 50 kilometres. So until we can tackle the legislative part of how our roads are dealt with in the Dublin area, we need to put in traffic calming measures of some description. And I think I'm referring to bollards again, but the small bollards that you can put in to protect a cycle and bus lane, I think should be looked at for that section of the Crumlin Road. Because if traffic and the people that do the speeding are generally sort of private motorists, if they're restricted to being just going up the centre aisles, it would make it much safer. And I think we have to realise that roads like the Crumlin Road, a bus lane needs to be protected, because it's not just a bus lane, it's also a cycle lane. And that section of the Crumlin Road, particularly coming out from the city, the bus lane is ignored by many motorists. We've brought it up at police forum meetings and so forth, and nothing has been done. I think that's a first step in improving safety on the Crumlin Road. And if we're serious about it, we will ensure that there is proper enforcement. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. I'm taking it into 5 people. Deirdre Conroy, do you want to say anything on this, or has it been said? Deirdre, okay, I'll move. Fiona Connolly, do you want to add in?
No, I disagree with Fiona. Sorry, I just wanted to say very quickly, apologies, I was trying to get through onto my iPad. Chairperson, yes, I can understand what all other councillors are saying about it. I have been dealing with Crumlin Road several times in regard to the MTA, but it is it can be an issue with the speed and also with the side roads. So this is something that we have to get resolved.
Okay, thanks, Deirdre. Fiona? No, you're okay. Carolyn Moore?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Just to agree really with what councillors Dunn and DC have already said in terms of the response that we got. It requests further information on the location, but as far as I know, we've been quite specific with the location. But even I think that misses the point in terms of thinking that this is an isolated incident and that we're looking for specific measures to prevent another child being knocked off their bike outside number 57, which we are, of course. But I think we're also equally looking for a holistic approach to the entire road, and there are specific, all of us in dealing with residents over the last few years have been able to point at specific junctures along that road where numerous factors are at play that mean that people are either going over the speed limit or the speed limit just isn't appropriate for the road or that kind of thing. What we're not taking into account, and Councillor Dunn raised this with regard to an OR road, and it's one of the recommendations that our working group on reducing the speed limit to 30 kilometres per hour sent back to the department. But we should be allowed to evaluate based on the use of the road rather than the designation of the road. And the fact is that this road has 3 schools and various sports clubs on it, and the people trying to navigate the road, and particularly if we're trying to initiate a switch to active travel, there's loads of people living in that area who would love their children to be able to cycle or walk to school or to their sports practice safely, but they just can't do it at the moment. So we've been sent on a full list of potential interventions that include traffic calming, road narrowing, a particular place where a yellow box would work, protecting the cycle lanes, visual speed readers as well, so people know what speed they're doing. So to ask for specific location information, just to point out that that sort of misses the point that actually we're looking for a much more holistic approach here, and that, yeah, I think Councillor Deasy's suggestion that we would have a meeting there with the residents and come up with a sort of a toolbox approach, I think would be the best way to move this forward. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Can I take it then that the report is simply noted and agreement is reached on the need to have a further meeting as outlined? Is that okay? Yep.
Yes, Chairperson. Yes, definitely.
Dermot,
Yeah.
hang on now. Yeah, that's great, but when? So I'd like by September that we have a number of actions that we're going to be implementing as a matter of urgency. It's one of the most dangerous roads in Dublin City at the moment. So I'd like us between now and the September meeting to have had a meeting with the residents, and then to have a number of, and we've submitted these 18 months ago. Councillor Moore has kindly listed them again. There are a number of things that we can do. So between now and September, can we aim to have met a number of the residents? And can we have an action plan in place in terms of what we're going to implement it and when we're going to implement it?
Well,
and I'd be happy.
Yeah, on the basis, Tara, on the basis that we've tried not to have meetings in August, this meeting should be organised, in my view, before the end of July, if at all possible.
I'll organise that meeting,
John has just given a commitment to organise that meeting.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Would Neil like to comment on?
Yeah, I was going to bring Neil in, yeah, but I just wanted to get that agreement, have the meeting out of the way. Okay, Neil.
Yeah, just to let you know, like, as you know, there's 2 lanes in and out to town there, out to the canal and back to the Sundrive Road. Now, we are doing currently at this very moment, we're getting a speed survey done on the road, first of all. So we will get the exact speeds that are occurring. When you're coming out from town, from the canal, going towards Sundrive Road, the vehicles don't get a continuous flow. There's 3 sets of pedestrian crossing, which slows down the speeds along the road. But yes, I am looking at the issues that Councillor Deasy and Councillor Dunn and Councillor Conroy. We are looking at what we can do, but also we have to remember it is a main arterial route, right? And it is an emergency service route out to Crumlin Hospital. So we have to monitor those things that are in place already. That I will be talking to the Gardaí, finding out what are the issues. Like, I think it does need some type of enforcement by the guards. The reason, just to let you know, the reason why we don't put in the speed radar signs. Speed radar signs usually goes in on roads where speeds change, going from 50 to 30 or something like that. Where that's what we try to give as our visual cue for those type of machines that go in, and they're expensive items. But look, we will consider everything while we were looking at this. Like, we had already looked outside the GA pitch there and looking at a yellow box, but it would only be going into the centre lanes. We don't put yellow boxes into the bus lanes, and we looked at the situation and it said it doesn't meet the criteria for a yellow box there. Just to let you know that it doesn't meet the criteria. There's it has to be a large volume of vehicles. I know it might be at a certain time when there's a match on or something, there might be a few vehicles, but at the time of day when we're looking at these places, there isn't huge volumes, and we really try to put them only at yellow boxes, really at junctions where there's people parked in the middle of a junction, blocking a junction. So we are looking at measures, but we'll come back to you when we have the report, and I'm available to meet with the councillors, and I'll meet with the area office with them. There's no problem there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, can we move on? Just I'm conscious of time.
begrudgingly.
There is going to be another meeting. Hopefully progress will be made. Motion